The Care Bears and the Whale Tale by Peggy Kahn, illustrated by Ronald Fritz. Are you ready? Here we go. High above the clouds, the Care Bears were playing happily in their magical land of Care-a-Lot. Cheer Bear and Funshine were especially happy because it was a Tuesday. And on Tuesdays, something happened that Cheer and Funshine loved to see. Every other Tuesday, the kids in Mr. Berman's class went to the beach after school, even when it was cold and blustery. They weren't there to play, although they always seemed to have fun. They were there to do an important job, picking up plastic litter that was left behind by the tide. But this Tuesday was a perfect spring day. The sky was blue, and the beach plum and bayberry shrubs were covered with blossoms. Some of the kids had brought along kites to fly in case they finished their plastic pickup early. Up in Care-a-Lot, Cheer was explaining why what the kids were doing was important. Plastic fools fish and other sea creatures like seals and turtles. They think it's something good to eat, but a tummy full of plastic makes them sick. It fools the poor birds too, added Funshine. Sometimes they use little pieces for their nests. I didn't know that birds recycled plastic, said Share Bear. That's great. But it's not so great when they eat it or choke when their necks get caught in those six-pack holders. That makes me mad, cried Grumpy, kicking up a cloud of stardust. And plastic lasts a million zillion years, too. Well then, it should make you glad that the kids are doing something about it. Come watch, said Tenderheart. But the Care Bears weren't the only ones watching the kids. High above the beach, in a cabin at the edge of the dunes, old Captain Jenks peered through his telescope and smiled to himself. The children would be thrilled if they could see Emma. The days when he had sailed his fishing boat far out beyond the beach were long past, but he loved the sea and lived as close to it as he could. When the kids had first started coming to the beach, he had been annoyed. In spite of himself, however, he had grown to like the sight of the children coming on his beach. One cold, windy day, he had invited them to his tiny house for hot apple cider, and they had all become friends. The kids liked hearing about Emma. So had Cheer Bear. Unseen by anyone, she had listened along with them. Emma was a humpback whale. Captain Jenks had first seen her in his sailing days off the coast of Cape Cod over 30 years ago. Oh, that is a long time. It is. Yup. Emma was a young mother then, Captain Jenks had said. Humpbacks tend to be curious, and she wondered who we were. But she wasn't about to let her calf get too close to our boat. That could have been dangerous, so she kept the calf out of harm's way with a smack of her flipper. That poor baby, a girl called Julia had said. That must have really hurt. Captain Jenks had laughed. That poor baby weighed at least a ton when it was born. Calves gain 100 pounds a day, so a spanking from Mama Whale's fluke is no worse than a smack your mom might have given your hand if you were grabbing for a candle, and a lot safer for the calf than messing with a boat. Captain Jenks had told them after he had retired, Emma had visited him almost every spring. Well, it just seems like she's visiting me, he had said in response to the kids' puzzled looks. On her way north, she rests out here on the sandbar about a mile from the shore, sometimes for a few hours, sometimes for a whole day. Oh, Captain Jenks, please tell us the next time she visits so we can see her. Promise, please. All the children had begged at once. I promise, he had said, if you promise not to tell anyone else. If folks start pestering Emma, she'll stop coming here, and I'd sure miss her. As spring came, Captain Jenks spent more and more time scanning the sandbar, looking for Emma. At last, he saw her. He ran outside and rang his old brass bell. The kids knew just what it meant and rushed up the path through the dunes. Oh, be careful, kids. You don't want to mess up the dunes. Nope, nope, nope. It must be Emma, shouted Cheer Bear. Let's go. Cheer Bear had told the bears all about Emma. Since they could make themselves invisible, they could make friends with the whale without attracting attention to her. With Cheer in the lead, the bears slid down, 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 all the way to the sandbar. But when they got there, they knew something was the matter. Emma was making a deep, sad sound. And no wonder. A fishing net was tangled around the huge animal's head. She could barely open her mouth. Don't worry, Emma, said Cheer. Your friend Captain Jenks is keeping an eye on you. But Captain Jenks wasn't keeping an eye on Emma. Not at all. Nope, nope, nope. The children were so excited, they took turn after turn looking through his telescope. They saw Emma, but none of them realized she was in trouble. Funshine and Cheer both got a funny feeling in their tummies. Tenderheart felt it too. There was only one thing to do. They had to alert Captain Jenks, and fast. Leaving the other bears with Emma, they floated over the sea and above the dunes, right into Captain Jenks' little house. When the Care Bears appeared, the kids were still crowding around the telescope. Captain Jenks was the first one to see the bears. A mirage, he shouted. My eyes are playing funny tricks on me. We're not a mirage, said Tenderheart. We're Care Bears. We care about the earth and all the living things that share it. So do I, Tenderheart. So do I. And a creature that you care about is in trouble. Emma! It's Emma, isn't it? Cried the captain. The children cleared a path so he could get to the telescope. She's caught in some fishing net, explained Cheer to the amazed children. That's right, said the captain. I can see it now. If we don't act fast, she'll be a goner. Someone has got to get out there and cut that net, Captain Jenks said. It's too big a job for this old salt or anyone to handle alone. I'll have to call the Coast Guard. I've never seen anything on land or sea quite like Care Bears, continued Captain Jenks. Can you talk to animals so that they understand? Aye, aye, sir, said Tenderheart. Explain to Emma that help is coming. Strangers she won't know, said the captain. Tell Emma to stay as calm as possible and try not to tip over their boats. I'd like one of you to stand by here. Yes, sir, said the bears. Saluting smartly, Cheer and Funshine floated right out of the window. The children waited while Captain Jenks contacted the Coast Guard and gave the officer on duty Emma's exact position. I'll alert the local stranding network, a group of volunteers who rush to rescue when sea animals get stranded. She explained. They'll do their best. Volunteers, said Captain Jenks. I sure wish I could get out to Emma. Maybe I can help that happen, said Tenderheart. It looks as if you Care Bears can do just about anything, said Julia. We can't, said Tenderheart, but we try our best, just the way kids like you and the folks in the Stranding Network do their best. And now, the best thing for you to do is go home. Remember your promise. The Stranding team can do its work without helpers. The captain put a sharp knife and a pair of shears into a leather holder and hopped onto his old bicycle. Meanwhile, Tenderheart closed his eyes and rubbed his tummy. He could see people leaving their homes and jobs on their way to help Emma. Let's get to Gull's Cove, said Tenderheart. Billy McCoy could use an extra hand on his boat. Bill McCoy? That young whippersnapper? Muttered Captain Jenks as he climbed on his old bike. With Tenderheart on the handlebars, he pedaled as fast as his old legs would go. Captain Jenks, cried McCoy. We sure could use you. There's a humpback caught in a net. I know, said the captain impatiently. Let's get going. The afternoon sky had turned to the gray of evening. The calm sea was getting rougher. The Stranding Network's truck pulled up at the dock, packed with stretchers for seals and small whales. While Emma was much too big to move with a stretcher, the truck did carry medicines she might need. Up and down the coast, network volunteers were taking off in Zodiacs, inflatable boats with small outboard motors. The motors could be pulled inside the boats when they got close to Emma so that they would not scrape her. But how close would she let them get? 5 Zodiacs plowed through the choppy sea, cutting their motors as they got close to the heaving giant. Captain Jenks sighed when he heard her sad cry. He saw the other Care Bears hovering around her. Row in closer, said the captain. I'll cut the net. I don't know, sir, said Bill McCoy. She'll capsize us in a minute the way she's thrashing. It'll be dark soon. We might have to wait until tomorrow, and with all due respect, sir, it's a job for a younger man. Before the captain could answer, he saw Tenderheart whisper to Emma. She suddenly quieted down. Steady, Emma. I'll set you free, shouted Captain Jenks. Bill McCoy smiled to himself and rowed closer and closer. Clip, clip, slash, tear. The net was cut. Emma was free. The next morning, the kids rushed to the beach. In the distance, they could see Emma. It was as if she had waited to say goodbye before swimming off. Thanks to you, Captain, Emma's safe now, said Julia. And don't forget the Care Bears, he added. The end. What would you do to help animals in trouble? And remember, pick up every trash and recycle every recyclable to keep our earth clean and life happy. See you later. Bye.